Hey, will the season continue? We're going to find out. One half of basketball left. Grant, Rhino, Jerry Reynolds at a moment. Tight game, Ryan, 54-50. And so, I don't want to start off negative because I like a lot of things the Kings did in that first half, but they're only up by 4. Shouldn't this lead be a little more than 4, Rhino?
Yeah, it certainly should be, Grant. I'd like to see them take better advantage of the turnovers that they're getting, the offensive rebounds. But that being said, Grant, this was one of the best halves I've seen the Kings play, really start to finish. And the game plan has been just impeccable, and the guys are executing.
But with what you just said, it's only a 4-point lead.
It's only a 4-point lead, yes.
We had a show yesterday with Larry Krueger. Most people know who Larry is, so I don't have to tell everyone. And he said that Steph Curry is not right. He's only about 75%. Before we get to Jerry Reynolds, would you agree with that assessment after watching him in the first half?
Yeah, I concur.
Yeah. Jerry Reynolds, your thoughts on the first 24 minutes?
Well, I'm concerned. I mean, I thought the Kings really for the first 18 minutes played as good as they could play, but the offense, with the exception of Keegan Murray, really isn't effective. And I think both teams, the defense is better than the offense. I mean, the reason the Kings are ahead is really just Warrior ridiculous turnovers. And yeah, I mean, if you're Steve Kerr, you are thrilled to death to be in the position you're in right now. And if you're Mike Brown, you're very concerned, even though you're ahead. So that's the way I'd look at it.
Ryan, the second quarter is the quarter that you both are referring to, correct? Excellent first quarter.
Yeah.
And Jerry, right before you came on, I was asking Rhino that this game to me should be more than a 4-point game. That's what you're alluding to, correct? And you think this game, based on how well the Kings played and all the things that went their way, and they're only up by 4, that's what makes you nervous, yes?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you didn't know the score and had just watched the first half, you would say, well, the Kings are probably up 10, 15 points. Well, they're not. And that's why you're concerned. The Warriors, to their credit. Now, I think the reason they're in it is their bench. And of course the Kings really don't have a bench, and so that's really very telling.
Yeah, 29 off the bench for Golden State. That's huge, Jerry. Great point.
Jerry, how does Steph Curry look to you?
Well, he's struggling a little. I don't know, he's still Steph Curry. I think a lot of it has to do with the Kings' great defense. I think they're everything they're doing is geared toward making it tough for Steph to even get shots or get the ball. So having said all that, he's still Steph Curry, and I'll wait till the end of the game, before I would say anything. But the way they're defending him, he's having a tough time. I think Keegan Murray, again, doing a great job on him with his length. It's amazing. A young player like Keegan can do all the things he does.
Jerry, Klay Thompson, is this the same Klay Thompson that we saw score 37 points in one quarter, and tonight he's played 17 minutes and has no points? Boy, oh boy, it's tough to watch.
Yeah, the same body, but it's not the same.
Yeah.
And I always said, I mean, and he just isn't a defender anymore. When people forget, he was a great defender before all the injuries. So one of the very best in the league, and no, not the same product. And now that, for the Warriors to win, they're going to have Kuminga and Moody and those guys come up big, and they're certainly capable.
But Ryan, if I told you at halftime that this score would be 54-50 and Curry and Thompson would only combine for 5 points, you would say there's no way that's not possible. I mean, that's still, Jerry just talked about the bench, but I'm still looking at these numbers and I'm just like, wow, it's 54-50 and Curry and Thompson haven't done anything.
Yeah, no, it's a good point, but here's my reason for optimism, though, Grant. I'll take it all day, the 4-point lead at halftime. It's the fact that I don't think the Warriors are going to stop turning the ball over. So I think those opportunities will still be there for Sacramento. And Jerry, maybe you can speak to this. This is the first time I've seen the Kings make an effort to target mismatches that they feel like they can take advantage of.
Yeah, I think you've done a pretty good job of it. The fact that Harrison Barnes can't get anything going concerns me. He's really forced the issue a lot more than probably anybody else. But all I know is the positives. The Kings are ahead with Keegan Murray and Keon Ellis being the two best players.
And Jerry, really,
half.
And Jerry, really quick to add to that, the Kings from the 3-point line, only 8 of 22. So we're not talking about a quarter where they hit 16 or a half where it's 16 or 17 threes.
Yeah, neither team really shot their three ball well, and we've talked about this before. Both of these teams are similar in that regard. Probably whoever shoots the best percentage of threes in the second half will win.
Yeah. I want to get you guys' thoughts on the game that was played right before this one tipped off, and the Lakers beat the Pelicans, so they're in. Okay, all right, they're in, and the Pelicans also may have lost Zion Williamson, who has to have imaging tomorrow on his leg at the end of the game. Jerry, what were your thoughts on watching that game? Is that just about matchups? We always talk about, gee, when the Kings play the Pelicans, it's just terrible matchups. Obviously, those matchups favor the Lakers, and if so, why, Jerry?
Well, I think size. I mean, the Lakers have so much size, and of course LeBron and strength. So it's tough for the Pelicans to match up with them. The Pelicans' length and really bothers the Kings. It doesn't bother the size of the Lakers near as much. And and of course, I think the Lakers really have settled down into their starters play big minutes.
Yep.
And they are good together. They don't have a deep bench or don't play one. But it's also true is whoever wins this game or loses this game goes to play the Pelicans, or wins this game goes
wins
to
the game.
Pelicans.
Wins the game. Yeah.
And I mean, neither team match up particularly well with them.
But without Zion Williamson, that could change things around. But first things first, you got to win this game, Ryan. All right, let's have some predictions here. It's 54-50. Gosh, how many times, guys, have we been on at halftime with the Kings in a lead, and then all of a sudden the fourth quarter starts and they're down by 5, 8, 10, 12? I got a better feeling tonight. I think you're going to pull this out. I think it's still going to be a low-scoring game. It's going to be kind of a slugfest. I think it's going to be close. The previous 3 meetings have been decided by 1 point. I know there's a different lineup on the floor. That was with Monk and with Herter, but I still think this is going to be a close game. I think it's going to be low-scoring in the second half. I'm going to say the Kings are going to win this game 107-105. Why? That's what you were going to say?
I was going to say 107-102. Jerry, what do you got?
I got 104-103.
Oh,
Keep
wow.
it at 1 point. Yeah, I think points are going to be hard to come by, and I think there's going to come down some heroics where somebody makes a shot. Keon Ellis makes a shot to win the game. That's what I'm thinking.
Ooh.
What's your biggest concern, Ryan, going into this second half?
My biggest concern is the Kings letting up on the pressure defensively, because they had 2 different times in the first half where they had stopped the Warriors at least 4 times in a row, one time 5 in a row. So if they let up on that, I don't see any chance of the Kings stacking stops like that.
Jerry, what about you? What's your biggest concern in this second half?
Well, it'll just be Steph Curry getting loose and getting going. I mean, if the Kings can continue to make it really tough on him scoring, they got to play him. He's going to play. So that's to me, that's it. I mean, if Curry gets going, I think the Warriors really have a chance, because then they can get enough points. So just keep the defensive pressure on. Mike Brown has done a great job, basically having guys switching on him, putting a big long body on him at first. Couldn't play him any better. Just have to hope it stays that way.
Ryan, we've talked about Steph Curry, who turned that ankle in the New Orleans game. We also saw De'Aaron Fox on Friday night come down on a defender's foot and roll the ankle. Do you see any issues with him? Do you think he's moving as well as he has? Do you think he's limited at all? What's your take?
No, I think Fox looks great tonight. I've seen nothing except that. And everything, for the most part, for De'Aaron, he started this to a degree, going towards the hoops for the Kings. And Grant and Jerry, I want to get your thoughts on this. The one thing I'm extremely happy about is the Kings aren't hesitating. They only hesitated to me 1 time, and that was the wide open 3 Keegan had, and he missed it.
It's a very good point.
Yeah, I think they're playing free and easy. And I mean, in their defense, they made great steals. I mean, they're like, both teams have stolen the ball and then had it stolen right back, things like that. A little carelessness there, I think. But, hey, it's 2 evenly matched teams, given what they got.
Jerry, you happy with the way the game's being called? Do you think the officials for this type of a game are doing a good job?
I think it's okay. I mean, I think if of course I'm biased, I suppose, but I think if anybody's getting a little advantage of whistle, it's been the Warriors. They certainly
Yeah.
bailed out a few times and getting to the line. I thought on a couple of where the Kings, I haven't seen anybody get bailed out yet. So that's all.
What about you, Rhino?
Yeah, I actually saw it the other way. There was a trip that I thought they missed, but overall, I thought it was called pretty well for a play-in game, and letting them play a little bit.
Just remember that we're going to be on right after the game. We'll have the post game, and hopefully not only will we be talking about this game, we'll be previewing the game coming up on Friday in New Orleans. Pelicans are 5-0 this year against Sacramento, but you got to get there first. And, again, we don't know about Zion Williamson. The history of these two teams in the playoffs last year and the regular season this year. And again, I'm aware that there are some different players on the floor, but something just tells me this game's going down to the final few possessions, right? Do you see it any other way, guys? I know with your scores, our predictions are it's going to be close to the end, but these two teams, man, there just doesn't seem to be a lot of separation since last year.
Yeah, I don't think either team can get away from the other. I mean, I think there's
not like in the past.
Yeah, they're so similar in so many ways. I think the Kings starting five is better than the Warriors, but the Warriors bench is much better than the Kings, and so how does that all play out?
Can the Warriors guys win this game without either Curry or Thompson producing decent numbers in the second half?
I don't think so. I think that Curry or Thompson has got to have. For Curry, if he doesn't get 20 points, I think it's going to be tough for the Warriors to win.
I agree.
I agree with that, but I think there is a little bit of an alternate route there. Kuminga's had a big game in the past against the Kings this season. If for whatever reason Domas got into some foul trouble, I would be a little bit worried then.
24 minutes of basketball remain for one of these teams. It's a 4-point game at the half, 54-50. You can look at this two ways. You can look at the box score and go, gee, how is it that it's only 54-50 with Curry and Thompson only having 5? Or you can look at it, you know what, for a good bulk of the 24 minutes, as you guys have pointed out, the Kings' game plan was outstanding. Their on-the-ball defense, their attention to detail, their assignments has been very good. So, if that continues, guys, I think we're going to have a good post-game show, Rhino.
I sure hope so, Napes. You were getting greedy if you were asking if teams were going to pull away. All three of us just picked the Kings, buddy. Just saying.
Yeah, we'd all like to be wrong there and see a romp by the Kings, but no. This is playoff basketball, and it's physical. The refs letting them play a little bit. Overall, I think the refs are good. Don't get me wrong. I think if anybody got a break, I definitely thought there's a couple of bailouts there a little bit, and so. But it usually goes both ways later on. And by the way, I really enjoy this broadcast crew. Stan Van Gundy,
Brian Anderson.
Knowledgeable.
Real knowledgeable, stay focused on the game. It's a lot of fun.
Yep. Jerry, you good tomorrow for 4:00?
I'm good tomorrow for 4:00.
Sounds good.
That's 4 in the morning, Jerry.
Well, actually, I'd probably be up. I've taken my third pee of the night, but that's another story.
You know what? That's way too much information.
That's more information than you needed. Buddy.
Way too much information. On that note, Jerry, we will say good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Oh my God. The one and only Jerry Reynolds, Rhino.
Can't replicate him. Can't replicate him. One of a kind.
Enjoy the second half, everybody. We'll be back right after the game. Bye-bye.